Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Batholkis, and this is Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. And for those of you who've not been to a Saturday Morning Blast Off, basically it's where I talk about the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. And there's a lot of news this week. So a lot of it having to do with Game of Thrones and Star Wars, which is kind of funny, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let me get some business stuff out of the way first. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. You can also hit the bell down below here if you want to see when I'm be on live again next. You get a 50-50 chance of that actually happening. You can go into the bell settings, get as many or as little notifications as you want. Quite honestly, you might want to go for more rather than less because, like I said, you never know when the hell it's actually going to give you that information. You can also go to my website, suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule up there. And I also post that on my Facebook page. I also have a Facebook group page for you guys to go in there and post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. I have a Twitter and Instagram, and I also have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. I will either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. I've got some stuff in the works. So, welcome everybody. Um, Let me take a sip of my tea, quote unquote. Ah, there we go. Oh, it's smooth. So, yeah, exactly. I don't know who that is either, Stanley. So, um, what do I got going on here today? I'm gonna wait till a few more people wander into the room here. So let's start off with some of the lesser news before I get to some of the headlines, shall we? Remember that streaming service that I announced? I think it was last week or the week before, NBC Peacock, which is basically NBC's streaming service called Peacock. Um, well, it might end up being free to everybody. So it's supposed to be ad based, kind of like Hulu in a way, but not having. So they still don't know exactly what it's going to be. Uh, if you have a pay TV subscribe, if you're a pay TV subscriber, excuse me, you might get some extra benefits like additional content and things like that. They don't know as of yet. Um, but the ads are going to be anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, in between your commercial breaks and all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm not going to pay for something that is streamed free over the air. I'm really not. It's not worth it to me. So this is actually a good move on their part, on NBC's part, is to just make it free because people aren't going to pay for that shit anyway, quite frankly. Um, what was that? I'm actually looking at. Does the streaming service occur in the bathroom? Sometimes, but it's an intermittent stream. Each hour. It depends. It depends on your age. Yeah. See, you're not the only one with smart ass comments. We are not important enough for Dennis. Go figure. Uh, you're important, Stanley. Maybe not you, Stanley, but some other people are. Has anyone seen the new Apple shows yet? Um, I read a review of the morning show, I guess it was the one with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon, and it they were kind to it. Any other site that had done it would have ripped that shit to shreds. Because I was reading between the lines on it, and they were basically like, "Yeah, it's kind of average," and I'm like, "Yeah, it kind of sucks." So yeah, and yeah, I agree with you, Viking Mitch. I'm not paying for 15 different streams either. As it is, I'm gonna get to about DC Universe and what's going on there. Uh, the morning show, morning and morning. Yeah, add a little more you to the more. No, the morning show is something else. That's the Spice Channel. Yeah, they already have that. That's been around for a while. If you're a Klingon, you get 2 streams for free. No, you don't. You have to pay double if you're Klingon. I mean, quite honestly, anybody who pays for CBS All Access, good God, I'm sorry for you. The morning after show got canceled. Welcome, Ufanobi. Yeah. So, speaking of streaming services, PlayStation View is going to be shutting down on January 30th. So, that one of you out there who actually subscribes to that, um, good luck. You have to find another streaming service because after January 30th, because they failed to find a buyer, is what was going on. They had it out. Sony had it out in the market to be bought for a little while there, and no one bid at it at all. You watched Power? Oh yeah, the Powers is what it was called. Stanley. Yeah, I watched it too when it was out there, and then I gave up on it because they did 2 seasons of it and they stopped, and it was a good show, but it was never promoted. So I figured, why? If it'd been someplace else, if they put it on, you know, Hulu or something like that, it would have been awesome. Wow. Pen, your computer's been really, it's been shutting down quite a bit lately. Yeah, no one was ever interested in the PlayStation View movie Finobi. I tried it a couple times to look into it, and there was just really nothing there. It was hard to navigate. It sucked for the most part for what they had on there, and yeah, it wasn't worth it. Yeah, whatever you do, don't call Movie Finobi for computer support. I mean, yeah, yeah. See, and that was the reason why I paused a little bit and tell you the lesser news, so that people have issues they can come on in and not miss anything. So, all right, let's see here. Let's get to one of the big topics. Why not? Because it's in multiple parts, unfortunately. So David Benioff and DB Weiss, otherwise known as D&D in the industry, because they work together all the time. They have exited the Star Wars trilogy, um, and there's been so many different reasons that have been thrown out there. So one is that they wanted to do a Jedi origin story for their trilogy, and Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, and Lawrence Kasdan didn't like it, and Netflix also were saying, "Well, we just signed you up to a seven-figure deal. Was it 7 or 8? I can't remember what it was. And you're going to be working on the Star Wars trilogy. What about our shit? Are you going to be paying attention to our shit, or are you going to be paying attention to mostly the Star Wars stuff?" And then it came out also that when they started Game of Thrones, they had never written for TV whatsoever before. So they had no idea what they were doing. I mean, no idea what they were doing when they were writing this. So much so that they were writing the episodes themselves instead of hiring somebody on to write for them or hiring other people on. And um, supposedly they were working in a vacuum. So for 7 seasons, they heard none of the fan criticism at all. I find this really fucking hard to believe, unless you were living out on a desert island someplace and just shipping in the stuff, the scripts. I'm pretty sure they heard what the fans were talking about. But all that came out like a millisecond before they got fired. I mean, quit the Star Wars trilogy. Yeah. And also, they said that they had toned down the fantasy elements of Game of Thrones so they could appeal to mothers and people that were into Monday Night Football. Excuse me. I didn't mean to cough in your ears there, but I was just laughing. I'm like, okay, so I wasn't off base that first season when I watched it. NFL players, yes, but they also were talking about people that watched Monday Night Football too, um, and so I wasn't that far off base. all those many years ago when I watched that first season, I was like, wow, this is a pretty dumbed down show. This is pretty stupid, actually. And I wasn't into the show, quite honestly. I have the first season on DVD because I bought it. It was cheaper than buying the subscription for HBO at the time. And so I watched it. I'm actually still trying to sell it because I don't care about it. Um, and I watched, a couple other seasons for free here and there. But yeah, there was nothing. I mean, you could see everything that was coming down the line if you're watching the show. It wasn't like the Red Wedding. The Red Wedding was not surprising to me. Um, it was one of those things you could see what the characters are doing. The other characters are getting ready to kill everybody, and I'm like, "Oh, they're getting ready to murder everybody in this room. Everyone else is getting drunk, but they aren't." And people that are watching the episode going, "Oh my god, I can't believe what happened." I'm like, "You were watching the same show I was, right?" Because yeah. Yeah, the actors are great. The sets and the costumes, exactly. I mean, it takes a village, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I know, EJAR. Was that interview a comedy bit, or did they purposely try to commit career suicide? They already signed that Netflix deal, and I'm pretty sure Netflix is just going, motherfucker, what do we get ourselves into? So yeah. Um, no, not really, Viking Mitch. I wasn't too surprised by the gore in it. We had seen, some gory stuff before in that series. So um SNL really early on, Saturday Night Live did a really great thing where they said they had Andy Samberg when he was still on. And so what they were doing a behind the scenes HBO, Game of Thrones thing. And what they said was they had hired on a 13-year-old boy. Uh so that whenever it was getting boring or not, they would ask his opinion of what to do. And of course, as any 13-year-old boy, it was add boobies, more boobies, need some boobies. And that's pretty much how I viewed the show. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was true, Penn. I'm fairly sure that was true because I'm sure D&D are pretty much nothing more than 13-year-old boys. Um, EJR says I can personally say I've never seen an episode of that show all the way through. I got tired, got bored, fell asleep. Yeah, it's uh see, I'm gonna say something controversial now, which is gonna piss off a lot of people. But it was trying to bring in the Lord of the Rings crowd and succeeded because it was in the same kind of vein as Lord of the Rings. And yeah, but toned down on the fantasy aspect of it. That's my nice way of saying that. I could never get through Lord of the Rings, quite honestly. I saw the first movie, I tried watching the second movie, and I gave up on the third movie altogether. I wasn't about to sit through 5 hours of that stuff. Yeah. If you love it, that's great. I know there's a difference of opinion. That's what makes everything different in our world. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad you have something to fall back on and watch and all that stuff. I can't do it. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Roboto. All you heard, Stanley, was wah 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 wah. Yeah, exactly. I understand. Um, and I don't blame you guys. Yeah, I'm just not into it. I'm not into Harry Potter either, and I know a lot of people are. I kind of equate all those things in the same category. Um, yeah, sorry, I do. I came from a stance, of course. I liked my science fiction, kind of hardcore science fiction, and I grew up with like the classics of science fiction, and I've never seen that to this day, on TV or in movies, I should say. I mean, other than I would say Babylon 5's gotten close. Babylon 5 is probably the only one. Yes, I'm being an elitist again. Yeah, exactly, Stanley. But I'm telling you where I came from on this. And so I've had to tone down my views in order to enjoy stuff because I know I'm never going to get that. Um, I don't know if I would say I'm more of a comic book superhero geek than a fantasy geek. But I'm not if I'm going to go into the swords and sorcery kind of stuff, it's going to be more of the Conan stuff. Yep, hardcore sci-fi, Ejar. That's right. Have some avocado toast while you're at it. No, I don't fall in for that hipster bullshit. And by the way, avocado toast has been around since the 1850s. So it's just current hipsters that have made it uncool. I like to call it sci-fi. SYFI. That's the correct spelling. No, no, I'm kidding. Science fiction, bitches. Yeah. No, Conan the Barbarian, Mr. Roboto. Although Conan the Late Night Host is very good as well. I have, not to be confused with Conan the Late Night House, Mr. Roboto. Yeah, that's a different thing altogether. I believe they serve pancakes at the Conan Late Night House, or maybe it's corn dogs. I can't remember which one it is. Did you like the Sword and the Sorcerer? Are you talking about the animated one or the old '80s movie? Uh, Not really. The animated one, the Sword and the Stone, yes, I did. But the old '80s, the Sword and the Sorcerer, I remember that being on the video shelf, and I remember picking it up once and watching it, and I was like, "Eh, yeah." Excalibur, on the other hand, that was fucking awesome. That actually worked really well. The ending was a little bit messy, but Excalibur was good. Did I see the trailer for season 2 of what? Um, so okay, if they're gonna do a Jedi origin story for the trilogy, so going back to this D&D dropping out of Star Wars, I mean getting fired from Star Wars, whatever happened with them in Star Wars. I'm fairly sure that a lot of it has to do with Fahey being coming in to do a Star Wars movie. If you think he's just doing one Star Wars movie, I highly doubt that's going to happen. I'm fairly sure he's going to be backing the Star Wars world, along with the Marvel stuff and Marvel TV. So he's doing a lot of stuff at the moment. Yeah. And um he's cleaning house as he has already done over at Marvel. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kathleen Kennedy leaves in the next year, maybe two. I would say maybe next year we get word that she's going to retire. Lawrence Kasdan is already like he grumbled something about Star Wars. I can't remember what it was. I saw some interview with him, and he's no longer involved in Star Wars or Lucasfilm anymore. I believe EJAR, the proper term is not separated from the project, but get your ass booted from the door and never come back. Don't step foot on the lot again, otherwise we will tase you mercilessly and repeatedly. I have not seen the teaser trailer for Boys Season 2 yet, Mr. Roboto. I haven't seen the official announcement on that one, so no. Unless it's an official announcement, I really don't look at it because I've heard all these supposed announcements, and they're usually just fan-based recuts. And yeah, I'm kind of tired of those. Like sites like We've Got This Cover and Heroic Hollywood do, and others out there too, who shall remain nameless. So, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that Fahey coming in, sorry, Pepper's deciding to bark at our neighbors that are coming up the stairs. to their own door. Mr. Roboto, I'm giving The Boys 5 seasons just because of the it's their biggest series to date right now on Amazon. It's getting the most views right now. And yes, it's gonna be up there. No, that's what security does with you and your box of crap. Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. So it's just announced that there's going to be a Superman and Lois TV series over at CW, starring the current Superman and Lois on the CW network there, Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Bitsy, as she's known to everyone else, Pollock. So Bitsy, by the way, she was on Grimm. For those of you who don't remember, and Tyler's actually a fairly decent Superman. I like him as Superman, to tell you the truth. He's small. Granted, he's not a big dude, especially when you see him standing next to Brandon Routh, and you don't realize how big Brandon Routh actually is. Um, no, it doesn't look like a rehash of Lois and Clark, Mr. Roboto. It's CW, so there's gonna be lots more hallways. Um, I'm looking forward to tell you the truth, and I'm also happy that CW is actually doing one of the big three as a TV show. We're not gonna have the stupid Batwoman thing instead of doing a Batman show. I swear to God, that Batwoman TV show is fucking horrible. It really is. And it's not because of any of the other, well, it's not because of the villain. They've got a good villain. It's because of Ruby Rose. She can't act her way out of a wet paper bag, given a blowtorch, a knife, a chainsaw, and a platoon of Marines. A platoon of gay Marines, if you want that too. There, however she wants to do it. But yeah, she can't act for shit. I mean, it's horribly bad. And I don't know what kind of dirt she's got on what executives in Hollywood to get the jobs that she's been getting, but good God, man. Yeah. I can't believe they ordered a season for Batwoman. Yeah, I can't believe either. Uh, I'm pretty sure it's because they didn't have anything else in there. She can act her way out of a box, right? No. A box is stronger than a paper bag, so no. Obviously, she can't get out of a wet paper bag. Come on, follow me with the logic here, Mr. Roboto. Yeah, the crossover is pretty much good enough movie for no. You don't have to go with the rest of the stuff. I don't blame you. Although Arrow is doing a fairly decent job of following along, skipping through the timelines. I like that. Or not the timelines, but the universes, all the different universes. I never watched a single minute of Lois and Clark. I was working too much when it was on. Lois and Clark was decent. Dean Cain is now a right wing asshole. So yeah, I can't recommend it just because I think he gets residuals on that. So yeah. But yeah. So along those same lines, it's of course Berlanti is producing that. It's I think his 28th show that he's producing now. Berlanti is also going to be doing Green Lantern Corps and Strange Adventures, which are both DC comics. They're going to be doing them as live action series, and those are heading over to HBO Max, not CW, not DC Universe, but HBO Max. That also coupled with Elizabeth Banks doing an HBO Max series, a series for HBO Max called DC Superhero High, which has a boarding school for teens, and these teens are supposedly going to be the people that grow up to be the heroes in the DC universe. I'm starting to wonder what's going to happen with DC universe, you know, because you're pushing all this shit over to HBO Max. Uh, what's going on with DC universe? I mean, we're seeing we're seeing the downtrend quite a bit on Titans right now for DC Universe, and yeah, it's been a year, movie for nobody, that DC Universe has been here, and I'm not surprised by it because AT&T took it over. They bought out Time Warner just as that was coming online, and now they've are fully, um, I guess you can say, entrenched in that, and they are working on just destroying anything that DC WB has put out there at this point. Which, granted, Time Warner did a great job of destroying it anyway as it was, but now AT&T I think is going to continue it. Is HBO Max going to have comics? No, they're not. No. Um, quite honestly, I'm not looking at. I've looked at the comics on DC Universe, and it's no different than what looking at it on Comixology. And yeah, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go over to Comixology anyway and watch it there. Sure, I got my stuff for free, if you will, on DC Universe, basically when I'm paying my subscription service. But Comixology, I've already got a good library of comics that I've got on there that I haven't read, and I get free ones all the time. Yeah, I don't need tweens either. I'm tired of this super well, what I'm tired of is not having a proper Batman show. And I'm not talking about campy Batman. I'm not talking about Gotham. I'm not talking about Batwoman. I'm talking about a fucking full-on Batman TV show. Have it on the streaming service. I don't care if it's on HBO Max or DC Universe at this point. Get a fucking Batman show on the air. I don't want Alfred. I don't want Pennyworth, anything like that. I want a goddamn Batman show. I don't want an Earth 15 Batman. I don't want an Earth 222nd Batman or uh, you know, Batman 2099 or anything like that. Give me a fucking Batman show. Yes, like a proper tuxedo. Exactly, Stanley. I mean, God, you guys have danced around this shit so often and just won't give me a Batman Beyond TV show, a live action TV show. I mean, since you won't do Batman anyway, that way you can do it. I mean, you hired Ian Glenn to play Bruce Wayne, who is the world's shittiest Bruce Wayne I have ever seen in any form. And yet you won't give us a Batman TV show, a proper Batman TV show. Oh, I mean, we're getting another Superman TV show. We're getting a second one now. Actually, this will be a third one, considering that we had one in the 50s. How about an Aunt May spinoff? Yeah. Yeah, Penn, I saw that. Um, so DC Universe is doing a reality TV show, is what they called it. So Penn was she reminded me that there was an email from DC Universe asking for your show idea. Now, uh highly doubtful that you'll see any money off of that thing and that they'll exploit the shit out of you for that, but sure, go for it. Oh, you're not going to get a real Green Lantern Corps series, ER. It's not going to happen. Even though they announced this Green Lantern Corps, it's not happening. It's going to be a watered down version. It's Berlanti again. So yeah. Um, basically, what needs to happen is it needs to go to somebody who actually cares about the properties. It really does. I mean, they just look at it as money, and they are uh just squandering, I mean, literally pissing away properties that are guaranteed money makers as long as you put somebody in there who actually cares about your fucking properties. A Bruce Timm, a Dave Filoni, things like that. people that are actually fans of those properties. Put them in there to actually do justice to your properties and then fund them. Don't give me $500,000 for, an episode of The Flash or something like that, and then tell me, "Oh, well, it's not getting any kind of viewers because, it's crappy." Well, yeah, you get what you pay for. You get people that don't care about those properties and that are running them. I don't want a Guy Gardner Green Lantern series. I really don't. You're putting the least popular Green Lantern in there, and then you're going to expect that to take off. Isn't going to happen, Mr. Roboto. I would like a Hal Jordan Green Lantern series, but that's not going to happen. It's going to be John Stewart, if anything, because that's where it's going on this. More and more companies try crowdsourcing without paying people for it. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, Stanley. It's going to be a teenage origin story of a runaway who gets adopted by the ring. No, no, Penn. He's not going back to that. He will not go. Ryan Reynolds will not go back to that. I already know. He has an aversion to that movie. He's even made fun of it. Um, quite honestly, who I would love to see in the role is Nathan Fillion as Hal Jordan. He has voiced Hal Jordan and done a great job. I would love to see him as Hal Jordan. I want the older Hal Jordan, a guy who's at the end of his career, the end of his flight career, if you will. And, you know, I do not have a stick up my ass move, Finobi. I've mailed it to you, as a matter of fact. So look for that in the mail. And yeah, Nathan Fillion would be an awesome Hal Jordan. He's got the snark. He has got the fast, quick wit, that kind of thing. I think it would be awesome. Oh, you don't want me to prove it, movie Finobi. You really don't. Yeah. Who will play Kilowog? Well, it would be CGI, of course. Then you just get somebody to voice him. That's all. Sean Connery as Hal Jordan. Who's Hal Jordan? Is Hal Jordan where they stop in that hallway there to talk about their feelings, or yeah, Penn. I agree. It's watch I believe it's Emerald it's no, Green Lantern First Flight, if I remember correctly. And Nathan Fillion does the voice for that. And it's literally the best Green Lantern voice wise that I've seen or heard. Wilford Brimley as Kilowog. Yeah. Hall Pass Jordan. Yeah. So yeah, is DC Universe dead? Probably. I would say most likely. Especially given the way this second season of Titans is playing out. It's running hot and cold. It we get good episodes like Connor, which explores Superboy, which makes me want a Superboy spinoff because of how good it was. And then we get this week's episode of Atonement, which was the shittiest episode I have watched outside of Akiva Goldsman's writing. And that's because the guy that they got to write it that was his second episode of TV he's ever written in his life, was the episode Atonement. And I'm just sitting there shaking my head going, really? Because I had to see who had written such a bad, bad, bad episode. Yeah, Scott Allen's weakness is wood, and Hal Jordan's weakness used to be yellow. And if you put a yellow number two pencil together, that is could defeat both of them. Why do I watch that show anyway? Titans, because it actually has some good stuff in it. And it's the closest I'm going to get to getting a live action series in there, I've been waiting for a live action series of that, and I'm hoping that by some miracle it get better. um, Earth 2 is destroyed, Ryan. If you didn't get the memo on CW, there, they killed it. Go back and watch my videos on Titans, Stanley Twill. I don't bitch about that all the time. The first episode, yes, that was because it was the final episode of season 1 that got carried over to season 2, and then I was pleasantly surprised up until this week's episode. Ah, I got you moving over. Earth 2 was canceled years ago. Funny. Yeah. For those of you kids out there who don't know, Earth 2 was a TV show. Yeah, it was a NBC TV show that got canceled, surprise, due to low ratings because it got moved around. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they need to leave Bruce Wayne out of Titans completely or recast him. So, yeah. Ah. So, also, HBO has announced a Game of Thrones prequel that explores the House Targaryen, and it's going to be called House of the Dragon, excuse me. So it's a prequel before Game of Thrones. I believe it takes 200 years before Game of Thrones, something like that. And is the house it basically explores the House Targaryen. Um, do I care? Not really. Uh, I'm kind of over Game of Thrones, have been for quite a while. And the prequel though that were doing before, which is supposed to be set 1,000 years before Game of Thrones, that was starring Naomi Watts, looked promising, and that one's been canceled. Ah, yeah. Blood Moon was canceled. What's Blood Moon? Uh, I want a whole chow about Red Death. Oh yeah, a whole chow. Oh, a whole show. Okay, there we go. A whole show about Red. Yeah, I want a Red Death show as well. Viking bitch. Red Death is awesome. He really is in Venture Brothers. If you haven't, yeah. Hey Dante S. Ryan Knox. So long. D as D&D are banished. I'm excited. Ryan, after their interview that they did, their very explicit interview where they just kind of revealed everything. I'm pretty sure they are not going to get any work outside of their Netflix stuff ever again, unless their Netflix stuff does really well, which I'm pretty sure it won't. Because they pretty much said, "Oh, we've never worked in TV before, and we just did Game of Thrones, and we didn't know what the hell we were doing, and we didn't listen to anybody, and we did well. We got millions of dollars off of it." Excuse me. It's been a little cold here. Like the cold snap all of a sudden snapped in here, and Pepper was shivering this morning. All that stuff. It dropped down into the 50s. Although, good news, the cold snap may be over with by this afternoon once we're going to reach the 80s. There you go. I can't even freaking talk anymore. Yeah, you probably did give me the plague. Yeah, she was kind of shivering. I covered her with the blanket, and then she looked at the blanket like it was evil or something. I don't know. She's a weird dog. Hey, I don't like snow. Well, I do, but I go and visit snow when it snows, and then, if I want to, and then I can drive back to where there isn't any snow. See, I like living in a place where on Christmas Day I can walk down to the beach and actually walk into the water if I need to because it's that warm on Christmas Day. So that's enough for the weather report. Let's see what else we got here. Whoa. I just hit the wrong button on something. There we go. The final season of Lucifer, which is on Netflix, is going to be split into 2 parts. So Netflix is going to drop 8 episodes whenever it is. I think it's December or something like that. Excuse me. And then they're going to wait a little while. Then they're going to drop the other 8 episodes. Why? Your guess is as good as mine on that one. Um, I know that Amazon used to do that for a while, but they gave up on that and they just started dropping all their entire seasons. I'm more along the so Disney Plus is going to be doing episode by episode every week. Yeah. Which I believe is actually a better thing to do. Just releasing the episodes once a week, so it stays fresh in people's minds. I know people want to binge them and all that kind of stuff. Wait until the end of the season, then you can binge them if you want to. But weekly is better. Yes. Excuse me, just a second. There we go. Just kind of something stuck in the back of my throat there. Just wasn't leap in the middle of it. By episode 3, you're just kind of like nodding off. Like, what did I miss? You wake up in episode 5. Like, what the hell happened? Yeah. I am not on top of the Golden Girls or the Golden Gate Bridge because you can't go on top of the Golden Gate Bridge. It just isn't allowed. Yeah. Dante, I was telling VP that the dragons were special in Game of Thrones limited fashion with many dragons and poorly rendered ones. The dragons actually weren't badly done. They were actually done well, although aerodynamically incorrect. There's no way they could actually support their body weight with those tiny wings. Yeah. Not only that, their wings, when they took off like that, would just knock down buildings from all the wind. Depends on the show. Binging was great for Stranger Things, but I don't want to binge The Expanse. That's what people are going to do, Mark. They're going to binge The Expanse, and you're not going to hear about it 2 weeks after it comes out. Well, you're not going to hear about it 2 weeks after it comes out because 2 weeks after it comes out, that's when Star Wars kicks in, the rise of Skywalker, and then you're going to hear nothing but how bad the rise of Skywalker is. I really don't have hopes for the rise of Skywalker. It's J.J. Abrams after all. Dragons are magic, Dennis. Logic does not apply. So are my burps. My burps are magic too, but you don't see me touting those things. I will so binge it and regret it after the weekend. Yeah. I'm wondering how many pornos are going to come out with the rise of Skywalker as the title. I'm just wondering, asking for a friend. Not enough is what Ryan Knox says. Thanks, Ryan. Oh, you started watching Living with Yourself, Viking bitch. You like it? So, what episode are you on? Do you know? Yeah, Living with Yourself is a good show. I have to admit, it's not fantastic, but it's actually good. It's a decent sci-fi show. What's it about, Ryan? It's I actually have an entire video on it. If you go back and take a look, is it worth my time? And I explain it there. So if I try to explain it here, I'm probably going to spoil it for you. But it's basically a guy who goes to a spa, um, ends up getting cloned, and the clone tries taking over his life. There, that's about it. It doesn't do it justice, but that's kind of it in a nutshell. And yeah, the video is spoiler free that I talk about. Is it worth my time? UFOs are real. Dennis is the source of swamp. I'm not the source of swamp gas. I'm one of the sources. I'm not the source, though. Oh. Yeah, the perspective change is interesting, but it gets old real fast, Stanley. That was the one thing that kind of bothered me about the show. I like Paul Rudd, though. Yeah, if you really like Paul Rudd, it's a lot of fun. Dude, Mark, you're almost done with it. If you're in episode 5, watch it, you know. No, my clone will be too lazy to take over the channel. They go, "That's too much fucking work. You deal with it." And rightfully so. My clone would probably just play video games all day because they'd have the extra time. Yeah. Uh, what else do I got going on here? As I'm nearing the end of my tea. April 8th, 2020. Excuse me, 2022. I mistyped on something there. The sequel to Into the Spider-Verse is coming out. This is what's been announced. And I'm happy about that, to tell you the truth. Into the Spider-Verse is probably the most comic book accurate movie we're going to get in the Marvel universe. And it's animated. So go figure. See you, Mr. Roboto. Um, yeah, if you haven't seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse because it's animated and, animations for kids and blah blah blah, go and fucking watch it. It's actually really good. Really, really good. Not until 2022. Who do they think they are? Venture Brothers? Yeah, I know. Well, they need to send out, the animations. They need to do the scripts and all that kind of stuff too, like Pen. So yeah, it's a little bit different. Takes a little while. Also, it was announced that Peyton Reed is going to return to direct the third installment of Ant-Man, which is also going to come out in 2022. So more Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. No word on Wasp returning or not. Um, which I'd like to see Wasp come in. I mean, I like Evangeline Lilly in this role. She actually does a good job. I don't know if Michael Douglas is going to return for that, but I do want Pena to come back though, because his stories, and I want more of those stories in there where he just takes over and starts talking about the story, and it goes off on tangents about you know, but it ultimately gets to the point because those are fucking awesome. You put a coin in the jukebox, you must listen to the music. The Raid got her. Really good movies coming back in 2022, but no sooner than that. So, um, we got a teaser for Stephen Moffat's Dracula on BBC, but no release date. And it looks interesting. I don't know if anybody saw it. It's on my Facebook page. If you guys go and take a look on Facebook, you'll see it there. It's interesting, but I don't know how it's going to play out. It is Stephen Moffat, so it could be good. He did do Jekyll. Is that right? Yes, Jekyll, which was an awesome series. If you've never seen Jekyll, go and watch it. That one, I'm still amazed it was as good as it was, quite honestly. And it had to do a lot with the actor who was in it, but 4 episodes, if I remember correctly, 1 hour episodes. Yeah. So if it's anywhere near Jekyll quality, I think it'll be good. And it's supposed to be Dracula from, I believe, the Bram Stoker. I believe it's when he's traveling on board the. No, I take that back. I'm getting it crossed over with a different movie. There's a movie that's going to come out about the ship that Dracula was on in the Bram Stoker novel, and taken from the point of view of the crew, and that's a different thing altogether. So as the crew get killed off one by one by Dracula, and that'll be interesting. But this is something else. Yeah. Yeah, if you could find it, Pen. I don't know where Jekyll's at. I can't find it anywhere. Sorry, I had to stop Pepper from licking the couch because she was doing that. Frankenstein, what the BBC series Frankenstein, Ryan? I didn't see that one. Yeah. Is it on YouTube's EJR? Oh, the novel. Um, yeah, I'll give you that. The Frankenstein novel is better than Dracula. And I don't know if you realize, but Frankenstein, Dracula, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde were all written by people who spent the same weekend in the same house on that same weekend. So all three of those people were in the same house on one weekend, and they all went off to write these horror novels, if you will. Really, there's a Jekyll with Chris Evans that's in the works. That's kind of interesting. I could see that. Yeah. Yeah, it was a creative brainstorming session. So Mary Shelley said she actually got her idea from she was actually sick, I believe, that weekend, and she had a fever, and it was a storm that was happening that weekend, and that's when she dreamed that entire Frankenstein story. Bram Stoker, from what I understand, excuse me, was that right? Yeah, Bram Stoker, I know, used folklore, some folklore details in there, but how he came up with that story, and I don't know. I believe it was Stevenson who wrote Jekyll and Hyde. I'm blanking on the author all of a sudden, and I don't know how he came up with the idea, but yeah. One man's life or death were but a small price to pay for the acquirement of the knowledge which I sought, for the dominion I should acquire. Nice, Ryan. Yeah. I just recently read Frankenstein for the first time, quite different than the movies. Didn't know it actually played partially in Germany and Scott and Switzerland. Yeah, it's an interesting novel, and that part of it is taken from the monster's point of view too. I like that, and he's not a mindless creature. That's the thing that no one's really gotten right. That he's not a mindless creature. He's actually a thinking creature, and there's a reason he does what he does. So yes, Westworld does quote heavily from Frankenstein. I agree with you, Ryan. Yes, Dracula was based a lot on Vlad the Impaler. Vlad was just a very twisted motherfucker. I remember delving into his history a little bit back when I was in high school, and yeah, he just did some really god awful shit. But he kept his country free for a long time, from all the stuff that he did, because people were afraid to venture into his country. So yeah. All right, what else I got here? We saw the second and final trailer for The Mandalorian, which of course is dropping on November 12th. Guess what's going to be covered on November 12th? That's right, The Mandalorian. So there we go. And it's on a Tuesday. I couldn't ask for a better, lineup here. So Sundays I have Mr. Robot and Watchmen. Mondays I'm going to have His Dark Materials. Tuesday is going to be The Mandalorian. Yeah. And then Thursday, I just want to make sure I'm actually right. Yes, Tuesday is the 12th. Uh And then what is it? Thursdays, I'm gonna be off. I'm gonna be off Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then Friday is Titans, DC stuff. And of course, Saturdays is what we're at right now. Saturday morning blast off. So it's gonna be interesting to have that whammy on there. His Dark Materials looks epic, but I'm worried about Professor X as Azrael. I like the Nosferatu take on Dracula, the remake in the tangential movie with William Dafoe. I keep meaning to see the William Dafoe movie, and I keep forgetting. I think a long time ago I started watching the beginning of it, but I only got like 5 minutes in, then something came up and I had to do something else. So yeah. Um, he put a golden cup in the city square and no one dared steal it. Yeah, Ryan, I remember that. Vlad did a lot of weird shit, but like I said, no crime rate. No one invaded his country, and this is at a time when every country was invading every other country. And yeah, he did some pretty horrendous shit in order to keep that going on. But yeah. Penn says, per Google, Mary Shelley with her husband, the poet Percy Shelley, their friend Lord Byron, and Lord Byron's physician John Polidori were trapped indoors by inclement weather and wrote ghost stories. Yeah. Well, yeah, I heard that it was also Bram Stoker and the guy who I want to say it's Stevenson who wrote Jekyll and Hyde. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just a urban legend. Yes, they did invade Ejar later on. So Vlad was chosen to get around the copyright of Polidori's story. Yeah. All right. And the Werner Herzog Klaus Kinski one. Oh yes, I saw bits of that one, Stanley. It's been a while. Werner Herzog, by the way. So going back to the Mandalorian trailer, this last Mandalorian trailer, which is voiced by Werner Herzog. Thank you for that segue there, Stanley. Who plays a villain in the Mandalorian. And Werner has been very, very coy about who he's playing on this. He just says he's a villain. And I love Werner Herzog. He's awesome. I love him in his acting. I love him in everything that he does, quite honestly. But when he acts, he puts everything into it. Even if it's a TV show. He could be HR, I don't know. But this is going to be interesting. I want to see him in this. I want to see how he does this. It's going to be pretty cool, I think. And of course, John Favreau is the one that's the showrunner on this. And he's already working on season 2. He's writing scripts for season 2 as we speak, and he's going to direct some season 2 stuff. And the amount of people that he got to direct episodes in this. Dave Filoni actually directs an episode. Bryce Dallas Howard, she does one as well. I'm trying to think of who else does it. Seriously? You know what? If you're going to complain about accents in a sci-fi thing, then what about all the British accents in Star Wars, the first 3 movies? And by the first 3 movies, I'm talking about 4, 5, and 6, which are the first movies. So, yeah. I don't know, man. It's, yeah. It's the man's accent. He's German. Yeah. Yes, that is the one, Pen, the 2007 Jekyll miniseries about a descendant. That's the one. It's on Amazon. Oh, good. Yeah, it's good. There's a line in there that he says, don't run. Prey runs, is what he says. But the way he delivers the line is so fucking creepy that I was just like, wow, okay. and it's awesome though. It's really good. You'll enjoy it. It's short. It's a shame that it never went beyond that one little mini series that it had. Yeah. Oh, it's a Showtime add-on to Prime. Oh, that's kind of weird. Yeah. How about all the British accents used for German characters in the World War II? Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, he did play crazy very, very well, chewing out a lot of scenery. But yeah, going back to Werner Herzog, I have no problem with Werner Herzog being in there. He is he's a great actor, he's a great director. Um, he's a great editor as well. There's a great movie that he did that made me laugh my ass off. He's got a good sense of humor too. He did with Zach Penn. Zach Penn, who wrote the X-Men movies, with Bryan Singer. And it's about the Loch Ness monster, about an expedition going out to find the Loch Ness monster. And Werner Herzog not only directs it, but he stars in it too. Funniest shit I have seen. I don't know where I found it at someplace, but it's some funny stuff. Really, really funny, good stuff. And it's played for comedy. It really is. Come on, dumb Americans can't tell one accent from another. Exactly. Um, yeah, Herzog is when they talk about Renaissance man, that's Herzog. Yeah, yeah. Brits can't count over 6 meters. British show is 6 episodes. Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought it was 4, but okay, it's 6. I couldn't remember. It's been a while. It's been a long while since I've seen that show. And speaking of shows, so I've been talking about HBO Max a lot here in this episode here. When is it going to drop? Well, we finally got a launch date, which is May 2020. We don't have a actual number. We just know the month is May 2020 is when it's going to come out. Okay, that's great. If DC Universe is going to die by then, so basically it's a death watch right now for DC Universe to see when it's going to end, because they have the animated Harley Quinn coming out in the end of this month. They still have Stargirl, which is still in development, so that's going to come out, and then Doom Patrol season 2, which is already in development. I'm thinking by the end of Doom Patrol, which is supposed to be actually Doom Patrol is supposed to also appear on HBO Max concurrently with DC Universe. So I'm thinking after Stargirl is when DC Universe dies, which should be around April. Is that right? I think if my math works out right, yes, I believe it's April or March or April. What about the comic book content when DCU goes away? They don't care, Stanley. It's AT&T. They're only caring about their return on their investment at the moment. That's really all it is. And they want to make sure that people pay more. We still don't have a price set. Well, actually, I take that back. We do have a price set. It was $12.99 a month for HBO Max. So, no. I love how John Oliver makes fun of. Yeah, AT&T is supposed to be made fun of. So, yeah, I hope I'm wrong too, Penn. But all the signs are pointing towards DC Universe being canceled. They're not adding anything new to the chat, to the streaming service right now. It looks like it's in free fall, even though they keep saying, "Oh no, DC Universe is fine. It's not going anywhere. We're okay." But that's usually what they say before they pull the plug on it. And AT&T has just been doing some really shitty stuff to people. I mean, look at their whole DirecTV Now or AT&T Now or whatever the hell they're calling it. They've raised their prices like 3 times this year.
People have left. They've lost just this year alone so far 1.2 million people off their streaming service, and they're okay with it. Yeah, they lost like 2 million people last year off of it too. Yeah, just a reactor core leak, nothing to see. Hi, or how are you? Yeah. Yeah, nothing to do here. Nothing to see here. Hi, how are you? Boring conversation anyway. Yeah. All right. What else I got going on here? Um, Netflix has ordered another animated series from Warren Ellis and their Castlevania team called Heaven's Forest. Um, I'm always good with this, tell you the truth. Warren Ellis is one of my favorite writers too. He's a very dark Scotsmen are very dark people, I have to admit. I thought Russians were very dark people, in terms of tone and stuff like that. But no, Scottish guys, my God. Uh, Warren Ellis is pretty damn funny though at the same time. So, written by Ellis, Heaven's Forest is set in an Indo-futuristic world with storyline and characters inspired by the Indian mythology of the Ramayana. Uh, so there you go. It's the Ramayana, one of the largest ancient epics in world literature, follows Prince Rama's quest to rescue his beloved wife Sita from the clutches of Ravana with the help of an army of monkeys. It is traditionally attributed to the authorship of the sage Valmiki and dated to around 500 BCE to 100 BCE, according to the description by the British Library. That's kind of interesting. Um, it's something different, quite honestly, and I'll watch it, especially if it's animated and it's on Netflix. Sure, why not? And Warren Ellis writing it. Fuck yeah. Scots are dark because the sun sets at 4 here. Oh, you're over in Scotland, Ryan? I love it, to tell you the truth. I think the darkest thing I've ever heard from Warren Ellis was, as he put it, what is it? The horror of existence is what it was. I mean, it's small, concise, and kind of to the point, but also carries a lot to it as well. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty fucking dark right there. So yeah. Oh, you're in Scotland for college? Yeah, actually, one of my old supervisors, she went out to Scotland for college as well. Out to where was she? She wasn't in Edinburgh, but she was close nearby to Edinburgh. I can't remember which one it was. She told me, and I can't remember. It's been years too. So Dundee, probably. It was probably Dundee. It was probably Dundee. She went there for biochemistry or microbiology. I can't remember which one it was. So yeah. If it's dark and funny, I am so there. Yeah, Castlevania is one of those things. The script on that is so good. So good. And it's because of Warren Ellis. It's because of his writing. You made a collage in Scotland? Ah, Ejar, funny. College, not collage. Uh Castlevania was really good. Yeah. I still need to finish off. I know there's like 2 more seasons that are up there. Yeah, there's a 3rd season of Castlevania that's supposed to be coming out. I don't know when. I need to watch the 2nd season. I thought the 3rd season was already out, but yeah. Like I said, Warren Ellis is great. There's a book that I have up here of his, a novel that he did called Pretty Little Machine, I believe is what it's called, something like that. And it's a not a murder mystery so much as a guy tracking down a serial killer or a hitman or something like that. And it's one of those books that is really the fucking far out there that he did. And it's a novella. Oh, it's a novel, is really what it is. And it's really good. I don't know if they could ever make it into a movie. Um, but if someone did, it would be good. Really, really good. If they can actually make it pure to the novel, I should say. No season 3 on Netflix yet. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be coming out sometime soon. They're killing it with Castlevania. I know Castlevania did a really good job and is very popular on Netflix. It's one of their top viewing things. I know I keep seeing it in my feed all the time, but I know I have it also in my queue. Hey Joe. Yeah. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Um on the opposite end of fun, but also on Netflix. I don't know how this happened, but somehow Another Life has gotten another lease on life and has a second season that's been greenlit over at Netflix. This is the Katie Sackhoff really bad sci-fi series that she's in. The one that makes a sci-fi channel movie look Oscar worthy, quite honestly. Yeah, I agree with you, Stanley. Tweedle barf is true. We're trying to scare new people away if we can, really? Uh, really, I didn't watch the first Life. No one did, Viking Bitch. That's what's surprising. I don't know why I got a second season. Well, Swamp Thing was over at DC Universe Pen, and Another Life is Netflix. Yeah. Netflix, I don't know what they're doing. I really don't. I'm pretty sure everyone watched the first episode. The numbers were really high for it, and that's why they're like, "Hey, this is doing really well." So that's why they greenlit the second one, the second season. Yeah. There's a lot of other shows that should have been saved long before others that got saved. Lucifer. Um, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. Just say the sentence. Another I did say that, Stanley Tweedle. I said it in a little bit better prose than that. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, good for Katie Sackhoff for getting work, but it would be nice to see her in something good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would like to see her in something better too. I mean, shit, she was actually better on the CW when she played a villain on Flash. They are nice to new people, Joe. They're welcoming to new people. EJR, I watched it in shock. I couldn't believe something could be that bad. I kept hoping it's got to be better, but it didn't. You're a better man than I was. After the first episode, I was like, yeah, I'm out. Not gonna watch that shit anymore. Yeah. And yeah, Captain Marvel was bad. I was kind of funny. I was thinking about Captain Marvel on one of my long commutes back home, and I was thinking, um, why didn't they use Monica Rambeau as the Captain Marvel instead of Brie Larson? I mean, Monica's character, I think, is a lot better. And yes, granted, I know that um, the Carol Danvers character is the current comic book character, and Monica is from the 80s, 70s, and 80s. But I really liked Monica. I liked the actress. I liked the character, her background and everything better than I did Carol Danvers, to tell you the truth. Um, so I don't know. Penn Farm Girl says, I said it before, but coworkers who were upset about Lucifer being canceled didn't even bother watching on Netflix after it was saved. Yeah, that's the reason why it's been gone. Shazam was the best super. Yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. Shazam was one of the best superhero movies of the year. It was fun. It was a ton of fun. I was surprised by it, to tell you the truth. I was going into it thinking that DC was gonna not have a great, another not so great movie, but that was a lot of fun. And it's a Christmas movie to boot too. So for those of you at home who want a superhero Christmas movie, you can watch Shazam. There you go. You kill two birds with one stone. And I agree with you, Ryan. Yeah, fun without being cringy and surprising without being cliche. Yeah, it even played with a lot of the tropes out there, like when the villain monologues. I loved when the villain is just threatening him, but they're like a mile apart, flying in the sky, and and he can't hear him. He's like, "What? What? You're too far away. I can't hear you." And he's just you know going off. Sylvania is just, Sylvana, excuse me. Sylvania is a TV. Sylvana is just, spouting off shit. And yeah, that was a funny scene. Yeah. Um, yeah, Ryan, I was surprised they did the Shazam family so early on as well. It was one of those things that I was like, well, they've set it up. Are they actually going to do it? And they kept alluding to it throughout the movie. And I'm like, are they actually going to do this? And then when they did it, I was like, holy shit, they actually did it, Yeah. See, if you do stuff like that in movies, us geeks will come to it, quite honestly. Yeah. Ah, it's a very normie show, Pen. Normies don't switch networks for a channel. Um, you're talking about Lucifer, Stanley? Yeah. It's a very it's the devil does a police procedural is really what it is. Um, and I yeah, I couldn't get into it at all. I don't know about that move, Fenobi. Are you sure about that? Have you asked her lately? Have you told her to be honest? Have you hooked her up to a polygraph to make sure that she's actually telling the truth? Doomsday Clock is fantastic. You're talking about the comic Doomsday Clock? Because I haven't gotten into that. I honestly, I really don't want to deal with the comics, Watchmen and the comics anymore. It's it was what it was that for the time, and I thought that was fine. Yes, Stanley, it does. I think Dennis would know if people were chasing away people. Yeah, I uh, so I have these little things like graphs and stuff like that on the YouTube's channels here, and also comments and stuff like that. And so I interact with people not only here, but also in the comments section and on other things too. Yeah, yeah. Was the Netflix Lucifer any better than the network seasons? I don't know. Tell you the truth, I didn't watch it. I stopped. I never watched. Okay, I watched the first episode when it was on Fox. I was like, this is not for me, and I left, especially when I realized it was a police procedural. So yeah, Manhattan took Ginger Wally West and erased him. Ah, but he came back. Huh. Yeah. Let me see what else I got here. Oh yeah. This makes me laugh every time I read it. So Nicolas Cage is going to star as a janitor in a movie called Wally's Wonderland. So, what in the hell is Wally's Wonderland, you may ask? Cage will play a janitor forced to spend the night in a twisted amusement park where he is pulled into a living nightmare. As the threatening animatronic characters come to life, the janitor has to fight his way from one monster to another to survive until morning and get out of the park. Ugh, I can't make shit like that up, quite honestly. Um, yeah, it's I don't understand. I really don't. Uh, Nick Cage, no Nick Cage as a janitor, as no amusement park horror. Wasn't that in Weird Al's UHF movie? No, it wasn't. That was the only thing that wasn't in that movie, EJ. So isn't this like Five Nights at Freddy's or something like that? I've never played the game, but or Five Nights at Freddy's. But I think that's what the whole basis of it is that the animatronic characters come to life and try and kill people. Yeah, it's more like Kiss meets the Phantom of of the Park. Exactly. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's Nick Cage and animatronic mayhem. I might watch it to tell you the truth, just because it looks so when Nick Cage does something really weird and out there, yeah, you want to drink from the fire hose, exactly. Uh, Today we're gonna teach poodles how to fly. Um, yeah, but I'm gonna go and see it just because it's gonna be out there. I'm fairly sure it's gonna be out there. I won't even request an episode of it's if it's worth my time for this one. Really? You're not gonna request an episode for that one? Ah, this could be a dumpster fire I'm pretty sure it's gonna be both, Vikey bitch. It's gonna be a dumpster fire and it's gonna be so bad that it's good. Because that's the only way Nick Cage movies are nowadays. They are both a dumpster fire and so bad that they're good. Ah, yeah. So yeah, EJAR. So my favorite line from UHF is the guy who wants to teach poodles how to fly from Raoul's Animal Kingdom, based in his apartment. Today we're gonna teach poodles how to fly. Are you psyched, Fifi? And he goes, one, two, three. And he throws the dog out the window and you hear and it hits the ground. Yeah. Um, it was funny in context. Not so much in real life. As a comedy, it's okay. Nick Cage is not slowly becoming Tommy Wiseau. He is Tommy Wiseau. Yeah, he really is. That's what they should do is they should pair Nick Cage and Tommy Wiseau together in a movie. Yeah, that would be awesome. Get them to redo The Room. Oh my god. That would just be nightmarish, quite honestly. That would be the stuff of nightmare fuels. Yes, it would. Not the bees. God. So what else I have? This is the final thing I've got going on here, which is just in time, quite honestly. So just in time for Christmas, The Witcher is going to drop on December 20th on Netflix. Yeah, we got the new trailer for The Witcher, and we got the release date, which is December 20th, which is strangely enough when something else comes out. What is that thing that comes out on December 20th? Oh, what? The Rise of Skywalker. That's what it is. I don't know if that's done by choice, chance, or what, but yeah. Uh I'm okay with it, quite honestly. Yeah, I would rather binge The Witcher as well rather than see Rise of Skywalker. I'm gonna wait until most likely like Christmas week or something like that when people are scrambling around doing their family crap to go and see Rise of Skywalker. I'm gonna see it, yes, because I kind of have to doing this channel and all that stuff. And also there is the weirdness of, you know, you know what? I do have a free movie pass on my movie thing. That'd probably be the thing to use it on. Yeah, December does have a lot of stuff on streaming. I agree with you, Stanley. Yeah. You already read the plot summary for Rise of Skywalker? I don't know. I keep hearing rumors about what it is, but I'm what is this Tart Wars thing you speak of? Let's see. So my final thing that I've got is that also dropping on Netflix on December 5th, though, is going to be V Wars. So what in the hell is V Wars? Again, it's something that's just in time for Christmas. It's about people fighting vampires. Yeah. Um if you're battling the vamps, you're going to need someone with experience is what it says. Yeah. So that's what V Wars is all about. It's going to be about vampires and people fighting them. I'm wondering if it's based on. I know there was a book or a video game series out there that was called V Wars way back in the day, like in the 90s. And I'm wondering if that's what it's based on. V Wars is all about the Vagenda. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds Christmassy to me as well, Pen. I agree. It's one of those things that heard, read the plot. I wasn't interested before, and now I have absolutely no interest in seeing it. Episode 9, that is. Yeah. V, the Alien Invasion TV show. No. V Wars is about vampires. I just like that they so on the tweet that they tweeted out, the Netflix tweeted out, they showed some pictures, and the pictures of the vampires' faces look a lot like the original Fright Night vampires, you know, with the gigantic mouth and teeth and everything. It actually looks exactly like them, and I was like, "Huh, that looks kind of interesting." Just from this, you know, the makeup stuff alone, I'm like, "I'll watch that just for the makeup." Yeah, I like the original V too as well. It was good. Yeah, and I even read the books. Remember, I don't know if you know, there was a series of books that came out afterwards that Johnson was writing, Ken Johnson, and where he continued the story. So he did some comics, and then he also did some books, and I read all of those, and that was actually kind of cool. Yeah, he made quite a career. It's like a 20-year career out of that series. Yeah. He had a lot of books too. I can't remember. I think it ran to the at least the double digits. I don't remember any of the books either. I have no idea. I know I read them, but I don't remember what was in them. Yes, the original Fright Night with Christopher Sarandon. Yeah, that was some good stuff. And Marcy from Married with Children. She played the girlfriend. Yeah, the newer movie was actually not bad, I have to admit. It was okay. I mean, that I still can't believe that Anton Yeltsin is dead, tell you the truth. His that whole freak accident thing with the Jeep running him over, his own Jeep running him over and all that stuff. He was actually a decent actor, you know? And to have something like that happen, I'm like, okay, those of you out there that are in Hollywood that have become actors and you've made some money, fucking hire a driver to drive you home. That's all I'm gonna say. You know? There's no reason for you to get DUIs, no reason to have your car run you over, all that kind of stuff. Just get a fucking driver, hire one. Ugh, yeah, yeah. So enough about that. But I saw the '80s TV show with Robert Englund, and I liked it at the time. Nothing much else on anyway. Are you talking about the Nightmare on Elm Street one, Stanley Tweedle? Because that wasn't Fright Night. Yeah, yeah, he was. That's right. He was in Terminator Salvation. A lot of people give Terminator Salvation shit. I actually thought it was okay. Yeah. So there we go. And yes, the original V did have Robert Englund in it. That's right. Willie was his name. Yes. I actually remembered that. Ah, yep, one of the good guys. Freddy is a lizard. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I got news wise. I'm trying to think of what else I'm gonna, watch or do this afternoon. And because tomorrow I've got to get ready for the double whammy of Mr. Robot and Watchmen. No, no, no. I did laundry earlier this week, EJ. I already did that. I got plenty to last me for the week. Yeah. And the next as well. Last week's Mr. Robot was beautiful. Yeah, it was. It was good. Yeah. No, I don't want to do your laundry, EJ. You can do your own skid marks. Uh, yeah, Mr. Robot has just been fantastic. It's one of those really damn good stories. And sad to see it's coming to an end, but I'm glad to see that they're going to wrap it up too. Watchmen, on the other hand, eh, eh, that's all I can say. I don't know where it's going. I'm really not really caring too much about where it's going, to tell you the truth. Um, there are so many theories that people have been throwing out there about it. That uh, Osmandius is stuck in a time loop, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. And I don't know. Also, that he could be Dr. Manhattan. That's the reason why he was doing the play. Uh, I don't know. Yeah. Yes, Laurie Blake was in Legion. Yes, she was. She's actually going to be playing Silk Spectre, or who Silk Spectre 2 had grown up into. She's grown up now and to become an FBI agent. That's what's on tomorrow. So Osmandius stuck in a crap show. Pretty much, EJAR. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know where the show is going. And like I said, I really don't care where it's going. It's a mystery box show. So for those of you who don't know what a mystery box show is, it's what J.J. Abrams does, where you'd never know what's happening on the show because the writers really don't know what's happening. They're just throwing a whole bunch of random cool shit out at you, and they don't have anything in mind as to what's happening. It's always a mystery as to what's happening, and they can piece it together at the end, supposedly, by putting all these different pieces together and with some stupid explanation, a la Lost. Lost is the most famous mystery box of all time. I don't blame you, Stanley, that Watchmen hasn't tempted you. It's really dull for the most part. Yeah. I'm trying to, hopefully think that it's going to get better, but I don't think it is. It's 9 episodes. It's not 8 episodes, it's not 10 episodes, it's 9 episodes, which is just really weird. Um, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Viking bitch. The mystery box is throwing spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks. So one of the things I just learned yesterday, as a matter of fact, so the whole song, stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni. You know that whole thing. I guess back in the 17th or 18th century, there's a group of people that went to Italy that liked the stuff that was there, and so macaroni was actually the word they used for fashion. Yankee Doodle Dandy. Thank you, Ryan. So yeah, Yankee Doodle Dandy stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni. They used to call macaroni fashion. That was the slang term for it. So when he stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni, he was calling it fashion. Never knew that all this time around, and then I read it someplace, and I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Too bad Katie Sackhoff isn't in the show. Could kill two birds with one stone. Yeah. So there you go. I gave you your one thing you learned for the day news. There we go. I find some weird shit on the internet. That's all I can say. A lot of it from EJAR, a good majority of it from Movie Fanobi as well. So I'm gonna let you guys go, since we are at that mark anyway, and my ass is starting to go numb. So that's such gems of knowledge, useless knowledge too, for all of you out there. Thank you to everyone who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. I'm kind of surprised if you made it this far in the video, unless you just scrolled through, which some people do. Uh, what if we don't want to let you go? There's always other videos out there, Ryan Knox. There really are. Sorry, just a font of trivial crap. Too much time spent. Yeah, I have a lot of very, trust me, I have so much useless trivia trapped in my head that it begs to get out. That's why I created a YouTube channel. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to. The library is growing. I believe I'm coming close to 500 if I'm not mistaken. I've got to take a look again. I can't remember where I'm at. It's getting up there. So thank you, everybody. Let's see. Tomorrow, like I've said before, is Mr. Robot and Watchmen. Monday is His Dark Materials, the premiere of His Dark Materials. Tuesday is the very last. Excuse me. Is it worth my time? I don't know what I'm going to do as of yet. I'm still thinking about that one. Wednesday I'm off. Thursday I'm off. Friday is going to be Titans, and hopefully it redeems itself after this week, and we roll back around again for Saturday morning blast off. So take a look at my website, suspendedfanimation.com. You'll see the schedule up there. It's also going to be mirrored on my Facebook page. There is a Facebook group chat. You guys can get in there and post stuff and talk amongst yourselves. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram. I also have a Patreon page, but no tier setup as of yet. That will happen at the end of this year, beginning of next year. And if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about joining up here, take a look at the video up here. It actually uses the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and plucks a video out of my vast video library just up there for you. Up here is going to be Titans. Watch if you dare. You're welcome, Ejar. I'm glad you enjoyed Primal. Primal is, yeah, it's a different show altogether. It's a lot of fun, but it's like I said, it's different. Thanks, Penn. See you guys tomorrow night, and thank you, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day or night, depending on where you're at, like Mark Maginot. And like I said, I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget, for those of you here in the States and still are on daylight savings time, we go back an hour. So it's a fall back tomorrow there. So as Bill, as Ted said to Ted, don't forget to wind your watch. And until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find out that the guys who are writing your show never had any TV experience to begin with, which is becoming par for the course lately. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.